Hey there, started the stream a couple of minutes early, so I seem to be ready to go. If you're watching, thank you very much, and if you could just let me know what the audio sounds like, because it's always a nightmare trying to get the balance right. So if I'm too loud or I'm too quiet, let me know. And likewise, if I'm streaming, hello, Vlador. Saw you in the Discord. A bit quiet. Okay, well, I'll just take it up a little bit, maybe just a little bit more. Because if it's quiet now and I don't have the engines running, then it might be too quiet once I've got the engine started. It's one of the hardest things I find with streaming, is trying to work out how you sound. Okie doke. Right, I'll just give it a minute or two yet, and what I'm going to do is the streamer software I use, Restream.io. It's good, but whenever I create an event and schedule an event, when I actually start streaming it, it never actually streams it to the link or the event that I created. So I'm just going to post this live stream link up in the Discord. Okay, that's it posted up. I just want to delete the other event in case anyone's watching. Okay, I am now down to one viewer. 22 last night. Okay, well that's after 9 o'clock, so I will get it going. Yeah, just you're on Twitch yet, so just any questions as I go through, let me know. Yeah, I think it's your comment. It's a chance to learn without reading the whole manual. Although I'd encourage you to read the manual. So for this stream, what I'm going to do is a short IFR flight from LaGuardia in New York down to Ronald Reagan in Washington. We'll hop in the cockpit and we'll start taking it through. Now I've loaded the route in the world map, which I quite like doing if I am using the in-sim planner. If I'm using the in-sim ATC, I quite like using loading things in the world map. So just in my pre-flight, and we'll pull up the in-sim checklists as well, which I'm going to resize that. That is a bit on the big side. So we have the pre-flight checklist, and this just sort of walks you through the tablet. But before we get going, a little tip: if you want the tablet out of the way, there's the click spot down on the pocket. Okay, Right, so pre-flight, which is our first screen here, we're looking to see basically that everything is okay, and everything is okay. So we can check that.
Pre-flight.
Oh!
Checked.
I didn't realise that I had the checklist assistance on, which is a really cool feature actually if you're learning the cockpit, but it can get a bit buggy when you're using it on the EFB checks. So maintenance, well, I don't have any maintenance to perform because that's all okay. Our flight plan, this is where the FSR500 totally comes into its own. Hey there, random FS stuff. Oh, thank you for joining. So I don't have a flight plan at the moment. If I went into settings, I've used my, it's not your SimBrief 5-digit pilot ID, it's your Navigraph username that you have to use. I'm not going to show you because then you'll see my username. But I've got a flight plan that I've already created in SimBrief, and it's simple as import from SimBrief. Could be easier. And there we go, we're going from LaGuardia down to DCA. Now, this isn't a moving map. Someone was asking earlier, where's the aircraft shown? Your moving map's on the MFD. This is just a flight plan over route, and there we've got the actual routing there. So we're direct from DCA to Biggie, then we're onto the Q75 airway, MXC, that must be a VOR, I'm not quite sure which VOR that is, I'll check, and then we're onto the Clipper 3 arrival. And checking the departure here, we've got the METAR, we've got runway 13 as the selected, and our METAR is winds 190 at 10. I mean, it's excellent visibility, 13 degrees at the moment, and our dew point's -1, and altimeter 3039. So it's all pretty good for the departure. I think we'll have a slight cross, so if it's runway 13, we've got to have a right crosswind as we take off. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. For the arrival, we've got runway 19, so I've already selected the RNAV 19 arrival. That's the river, so it's not the visual, it's the RNAV one. It's a river visual arrival at DCA, which is a pretty amazing approach. Quite challenging. It's a bad choice to do on a stream, perhaps. And we've got winds at 1708 knots, a few 2,500 feet, and 16 degrees down there. So pretty benign conditions. It's all VFR. This feature here just summarizes all of that and allows you to search for other METAR if you want it. We've got our OFP now, so let's go through that. I'm flying as November 150 Bravo Bravo, which is a real world call sign or tail number. Well, we've got all this information here, but I've kind of summarized it before. Distance is 229 nautical miles. We've got a flight time of 1 hour and 17 minutes. Take a weight 4,718 pounds, and we're going to need 792 pounds of fuel, which is all summarized here. And this is when if you really want to get into it. But anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that. We'll just move on to charts now, and you can even have the route map here. I think that is yes, that is the moving map using the Navigraph. So I'm going to want it IFR high. Now you need a Navigraph subscription for these features. I'll go back to charts, and we're going to go back, and for LaGuardia we're going to want, we don't have a SID for this, so what I'm going to want though is the airport chart. That's the 10.9er. That should be it there. Yep. Okay, you can put it into night mode if you want. There's a way of doing that. Can't remember immediately where it is. And there's our position down there. So we're going to be taking off runway 13. So taxi wise, Taxi-wise, we're going to be probably taxiing Foxtrot, Alpha Alpha, Alpha Alpha, oh no, Foxtrot, Alpha Alpha, Golf, what's that, Papa, to get to 13. We've got 7,000 feet of runway, that's plenty. So now on to the ground ops. Now this is screen is in 3 parts. You've got this has all been pulled from SimBrief, so this is the planned payload. This is your current actual payload. So you can see we've just got 1 pilot on board and no passengers, and there's the fuel, and that's persistent. That's what I had from the last flight, and all these are also persistent as well, except the security cones. So I'll put those out now. And I'm not going to bother connecting a GPU at the moment. But it's telling me, so I've got 2 packs. Now it does load them in sort of seating availability order, but I like to have my pack sitting in the back. Don't want one sitting up beside me particularly. I don't have a co-pilot today. Single pilot via IFR, that's what the FSR500 is all about. No cargo, and there's our fuel. This is in gallons. You can work it out in pounds. We've seen some requests to have it in pounds. That might be helpful to be able to set that in pounds. But the thing is, if you're pulling it from SimBrief, it pulls it automatically. Obviously, it's good to check it, but that will automatically put in the right amount of fuel. So we're set up. We'll get the cabin door open. You can bind that to a switch as well if you want. And with the cabin door open, I'm now
delivery November 150 Bravo Bravo IFR to Washington, ready to copy.
November 150 Bravo Bravo is cleared to Washington Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 22 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure frequency is 128.125 squawk 0044.
November 150 Bravo Bravo cleared to Washington Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 22 climb and maintain 8,000 feet. Departure on 128.125 squawk 0044.
0 Bravo Bravo readback is correct. Contact ground on 121.7 when ready to taxi. Good day.
below. Ah, am I back? I should be back. Okay, I think I figured it out. Right, okay. So there was our, we were just doing our departure, we set 8,000, and I'm going to tune the ATIS now.
LaGuardia Airport
Right,
information,
okay.
Kilo 2000 Zulu. Wind 18 tree at 1 tree. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 1 tree. Dew point 10. Altimeter tree 0.37. ILS runway 22 in use. Landing and departing runway 22. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions.
So I'm just doing the
Advise
barometer
control
now.
on initial contact, you have Kilo.
Go. That's that outer wheel.
LaGuardia Airport information,
There.
Kilo 2000
Okay, so back to ground. What's that now? Just back to our checklist. Okay, so maintenance is not required. Flight plan is uploaded and checked. Fuel and payload is confirmed and loaded. Well, let's see what's going on. Fuel truck may have been and gone while I was trying to sort out that. No, I'm still waiting for it. There's a fuel truck coming now. Let's see what he does. Now, it's worth saying at this point, with custom airports like this is a third-party scenery, depending on how well the dev has programmed it will determine how well this behaviour is, and if it's not been, the taxi paths have been well laid out, then the truck may drive through scenery objects or through your plane, but that is very much third-party scenery issue. So it can, as you see, take quite a while sometimes for the fuel truck to arrive. Depends where you parked, and the fueling will happen first, and then the passengers will come once the fuel is on board. And if you want to speed this process up, yes, well, you know, you've got to be careful around aircraft. He's got a load of Jet A1 on board, so yeah, but you'll see him position himself and then start to connect up the hoses. This is live weather here at LaGuardia. It's not a weather preset, it's just a very nice day. And what will happen as he starts to load, he'll load each wind tank in turn. You'll see those going up, but we'll also get a fuel imbalance advisory will appear on here. That's fine, you can just ignore it while it's loading, but obviously you wouldn't ignore that in flight. Here I'm reversing now. While he's doing that, we don't have any passengers on board, interestingly. Yeah, the cabin is at quite a warm 22.7 degrees. I'm sitting in the sun, it's warmed up a bit. It's 13 degrees outside. So yeah, just means that when the passengers come on board, that's actually not too bad a temperature for them. He says he's connecting hoses. Come on, mate, we don't have all day. Okay, well, while he's doing that, I'm going to remove my pitot covers, my propeller covers, and the chocks. Leave the security cones out for now. Now, I'm parked at LaGuardia. What I don't have is any traffic at the moment. See what happens if I'll just start up switching between LTL and AIG at the minute, just seeing what gives me the best FPS. Okay, he's fueling the right tank, so we can see that starting to go up. There's our fuel imbalance. Caution first. Hey there, square flares. Well, the fuel guy finally decided to turn up and fuel the aircraft. So once that, yeah, it's become a warning now rather than a caution. It's in red. That's because the fuel balance, I think, is £125 difference. You can't cancel that. You just have to. It will ping away until the balance gets corrected. I'll try and back cancel, but I don't think you can. Oh no, I could. Ah, right. Yeah, and that is how. That is the master caution and the master warning key. It's the alerts button down there. Not on the GPU at the moment, so good point. I mean, we've got 25 volts showing, but I've just got the battery on, which so I've only got the main bus, electrical bus on, just to reduce the draw. But you got to watch that if you're sat on the ground for quite a long time. You know, you can see I've gone down to 24.9 and 25 is the 24 volts is the minimum for an engine start, and if you're getting close to 24 volts you want to think about starting on the GPU. Yes. And when the battery gets low, all sorts of bad things can start happening with your circuit breakers. In fact, while I'm waiting for him to do his thing, I'm just going to check the circuit breaker panel. I haven't set up any custom views for this yet actually, but they're all good, and we'll check the to see if we can. And if you're ever tempted to skip over checking the circuit breakers, and if you do that in other career aircraft, don't do it in this one if you're using realism. And if you do get a generator failure, or you've had some failure that's required maintenance, the circuit breaker's probably popped and you will have to make sure it's back in again. It's been catching quite a lot of people out that. Okay, so Mr. Fuel Truck has finally done what he's going to do. Off he goes. And now we should get the truck coming. Right, okay, well I'm kind of here to answer questions. So why did you get a generator failure? I'll explain that. So the starter and the generator are the same bit of equipment. They're the same thing. When it's in starter mode, the battery drives, it's a direct drive connected to the motor, and what that does is the battery will provide power to the start motor, which will spin up the compressor fans to cool the engine during the ignition process. Once the ignition process is all complete and the engine's spinning under the combustion that's occurring, it then becomes a generator, and basically it flips. It's sort of it goes from from receiving electricity from the battery to generating electricity to power the electrical circuits. So if you leave the starter motor running for too long, and 30 seconds is the maximum, you run the risk of burning out the starter motor. You may get the engine started, but you've also, because it's the same bit of kit as the generator, you've fried your generator at the same time. So you'll get a red gen fail CAS message coming up. That's what's going on there. And you know, you can still operate the aircraft. You've got an alternator providing all the electrical power that you need, but you know, you're on the ground, you've got a failed generator, you wouldn't take off. So So hopefully that explains what's going on there. And also the other thing that's been catching people out is, yeah, they blow their generator, they go to maintenance page here and repair it, but then they don't make sure that the circuit breaker's then pushed, and they still, you know, it's still failing. So hopefully that explains what's going on there. Let's watch those volts. Yeah, 24.9, still good. 4 minutes for the passengers, 3 minutes for the passengers. Well, you know, this is why you're watching the stream, isn't it? Okay, so other tasks, I mean, that you can perform while you're waiting. This is obviously where you can brief your departure. Now, I thought I was going to get runway 13, actually it was runway 22 in the departure clearance, so it's probably going to be Foxtrot across runway 22 or 4, whatever they decide to give me. Foxtrot, then what's that? Is that Bravo? Looks like Bravo, which then becomes Romeo, and it'll be cross runway 13, Romeo, short runway 22. That's what I'm going to expect from my taxi clearance. I don't have a standard instrument departure. I'll just come back and look at the flight path overview. Tell you what, actually, no, I'll go to charts and I'll get the route chart, and that way, not that zoom. And now we can see our routing. If I click the unlock, it allows me to scroll around. So we're direct Biggie, Copes, and we're flight level 280 for this. MXC, Nuggy, Troyes, Belay, Trish, Clipper. Clipper will be the transition waypoint for the Clipper 3 arrival. And then Val, Eyes, Edward, Megs, Nays, and we've got to take this big dog leg to get round DC in the restricted airspace around DC, and then we'll pick up the RNAV 19, which basically follows the Potomac down into DC. Well, good for you, that's the way to do it. Okay, so yeah, that's our routing. Let's see where these passengers are. Oh, it says 44 seconds. Let's see if we can, oh, I see a car coming. What do we got? I haven't downloaded the mod yet, so it's not going to be a Ferrari, I know that. It's a limousine. Looking forward to seeing what other vehicles might emerge in the future. Now, another point, if you don't have the cabin door open, passengers won't have a board. Where are you off to, mate? Well, he's not driving through the security cones, at least. Oh, he just missed those posts. Hey, he's got himself to the right spot. Nice alloys, just noticed those actually. Should use the drone camera. If you're wondering why no 3D models, Raoul has explained this quite a few times. You get 3D models for the co-pilot. There's a bug. You should get the co-pilot as well if you've got one, you know, loaded in that seat. But Raul wants to wait until he can model the 3D packs better than the sim currently allows, because he's not very happy with the quality of a lot of the 3D passenger models that are currently you'll see in other aircraft. Just another word, one thing you not see me do is check centre of gravity, and we'd recommend that all loading is done using this screen rather than the Microsoft weight and balance screen, which I'll just pull up now, which this can, it's buggy, and you can cause problems. It will, but you know, once you're loaded, you can check it and it'll give you an idea whether you're in the centre of gravity limits, but it's not ideal. Hopefully that'll be something we'll be able to bring into the AFB in the future. Am I loaded? I think I'm, yeah, there he goes. Didn't hear him toot his horn. That's normally a good sign, but anyway, looks like, hey, we finally have all our passengers and fuel on board, so let's get that closed. I'm just going to pop this screen out to my other little monitor. Right, we can now actually get on with our before starting engine checklist. So our passengers are on board, our door is closed and latched, electrical switches, well, batteries on, climate control is all off, ECS cabin comfort, which is the bleed system, that is off, parking brake is pull on, bleed air levers pull off, power lever must be in the idle position, condition lever here, that's in the cutoff position. Okay, I now could check the emergency power. That is just a way, if you get a battery fault, it's a way of bypassing the battery. Bus tie to provide a kind of a minimum of electrical power. I'm not going to do that because I'm on the battery at the minute anyway. The flaps are retracted. So we've got flap 0 there. Fuel gauges, check the quantity. So we are, yep, that's 792 pounds on board, which is what I expected. Outside air temperature is 13, fuel temperature is 13, and our battery volts are good at 24.8. And we'll just consider look at the CAS. Little tip, when you're in reversionary mode here, you've got the mapping set. If that's blocking your CAS messages, I'm just going to lay out map off so I get a clear view. So PD heats off, takeoff config, alternator off, generator off, feathered, all as expected. Okay, we'll move on to our engine start. So battery voltage will be confirmed. Our fuel pumps can now go to manual. You should hear those kicking in. And confirm illuminated on the CAS. Ignition switch goes to manual, and again confirmed. Prop area is clear. And now our start mode. Now we're starting in auto mode, and you have two choices. You have auto or manual. When you press it, that's in manual mode. So auto is the preferred method of starting, and so that switch wants to be unpressed, no light showing, so light extinguished. So to start the engine, lift the cover, press the starter, and then get your eyes down to the PFD or the MFD. NG is rising, we want minimum 13 NG. Okay, now I won't use my controller. Well, I will use my controller, but I'll let you see me do it. So I'm going to bring the condition lever from cut off to run. I'm keeping my hand on the condition lever, monitoring ITT. Oh, you can indeed, you can hear it clicking away. Okay. So ITT peaked, what was that, 714? Prop is rising, NG is rising. NG, once you're above 56, the starter should go off, and we confirm starter is not indicated, so the starter is off. Close the cover. One thing you'll have to learn, if you do have a failed engine start, you have to pull the condition lever to cut off, and then you have to stop the starter here by hitting that button. That's the only way of stopping the auto ignition sequence, and that's the way of stopping the starter from burning out. But that's in the emergency checklists. Okay, our IT was good, our NG is good, our MP is good, so we're all up. Now we can get our generator and alternator on. Between them they will provide all the electrical power that you need. And so we can see down here amps, gen 24, alternator 24, the shedding load. Now the volts will go up to 28 because that is what is being supplied by the generator. Our fuel pumps can now go to auto. And our ignition can go off. It won't. The igniters can be left on for quite extended periods, but they have a lifespan, and the longer you leave them on, the less likely it is that they're going to work when you need them to. So you put them off when you don't need them. Oil pressure is our final check, and that is 67, and oil pressure is 113, and our minimum is 60, so that's all good. Before taxi checklist now, so our avionics which can go on. And you'll see the MFD putting up, and when that gets going, well, once I press that key, that comes, PFD comes out of reversionary mode, and that's the MFD started. I'm gonna zoom it in. I'll need to zoom it in before the taxi. I've already checked the routing. That's about as far as I can go. And I'm just going to pop that out onto my second monitor. You can get charts up on this, I'm not going to demo that at the moment. I'm going to put my inset map back on. Back out that, so at the top level there. MFD is on, CAS messages as P2P and takeoff config as expected. I'm not going to perform the autopilot pre-flight test. The pitot heat is over here. I'm just going to press that, and then have a look at my amps. This is easier to do if you've got the pitot heat on a switch. Okay, that's pitot heat tested. Now then, one thing I didn't do actually was do that lights on before starting the engine. Taxi lights can now go on. Climate control as required. So even if it's too hot, you still want to put the air conditioning, too cold, you want to put the air conditioning system on and get the fans blowing. And we want it in auto mode, and when it's in auto mode, you use this dial here to set the target temperature. If it's in manual mode, you use this switch here to sort of pulse cold air as required onto the cabin temperature. So cabin comfort 24.1, they're saying they're hot, okay, but not too hot. Let's get their seatbelts on. Okay, radio avionics is our next check. So avionics check, right, we want to make sure course deviation indicator needle is in whatever mode we need, which is GPS for our route, so magenta is good. We've got 8000 selected, nothing on the autopilot, don't need to tune any VORs, so we're doing an RNAV route. Flaps. And I obviously if I was flying in VATS, I would be tuning all my radios, standby radios and all the rest of it at this point, but I'll do that. flaps are retracted, verified retracted, and in fact you can take a look at the make sure. Elevator trim, now set that for takeoff range. This is takeoff range here for the elevator trim. I like to put a little bit of nose up, depending on how heavy I am. Rudder trim, this is pretty important. So this is our rudder trim indicator here, and we want between 2 and 3. Use the switch here. It's really hard for me not to use my hardware bindings. I'm so used to using the switches in the virtual cockpit. So there we've got 3 set there, and if you don't set that, you'll get the takeoff config warning when you try and apply takeoff power. So that's sort of trim set. Now we can introduce our bleed air, so we push that, and then we'll set it to norm, and that will start to take conditioned bleed air from the engine to pressurise the aircraft and also to warm the cabin. So the way the climate control system works is mixing cold air from the air conditioning compressor and hot air from the bleed system. Right. Destination elevation is 14 feet for DCA, and that's set. Then we do a stall warning horn test, which is up here.
Stall, stall, stall.
Okay.
Stall.
That's good. Now, standby flight instrument is in the checklist. No, there isn't a standby flight instrument yet. Yes, we have to bring one. No, it's not a priority. You have 2 PFDs, which are on completely separate systems, so they're standbys for one another, and an MFD potentially as well. We don't have the MFD in reversionary mode. But yeah, I mean, there will be one in the future. So down here. Altimeters, we've set 3037, confirmed to park brake. Well, we don't release that yet. Because that will be taking us into our taxi, and we'll get our taxi release yet. So, where's our taxi?
Route November 150 Bravo Bravo with Kilo ready to taxi IFR.
November 150 Bravo Bravo taxi 2 and hold short of runway 22 via taxiway Foxtrot, cross runway 13. Contact tower on 118.7 when ready.
It's just going to be Foxtrot.
Taxi 2 and hold short runway 22 using taxiway Foxtrot, cross runway 130 Bravo Bravo.
But that is pretty much as we expected. I kind of rattled through the checklist. I forgot to use these ones. Sorry, I was using my paper ones. So we're before taxiing. We don't have a taxi checklist. There isn't that much on the taxi checklist actually, but I'll run through it anyway. It's on the paper one. So we're going to clear the area. Yeah, it's cleared now. Just remind myself where we're going to be going. So here, there's Foxtrot there. So it kind of, this is a fenced off area here. Not quite sure how to get out of it. I'll try and go to the left. I think I can get out to the left and then sort of double back on myself to get onto Foxtrot. So I'm going to apply the toe brakes, release the parking brake. Now, depending on how heavy the aircraft is, you may start to roll immediately, but I've got a bit of weight in me, so I'm going to apply a little bit of breakaway power, get it moving. No, I'm not moving, which makes me then think, do I still have the chocks in place? Just double check. Chocks are off. Move the security closed, everything else is closed. Can you show us how to set up beta? Right, well I've done a video for that. to show it in this stream because it's a bit complicated to do in an actual stream. That was interesting part of the brainstorm. So see how quickly it's running away from me now, so I'm going to pull it back into beta. Listen to the sound that the engine makes, it's really good. Key, and then also look for, you'll see beta appearing as a cast message. Second folks, rudder pedals are not doing what they should do. I was messing around with the rudder pedals earlier, so I'm just going to make sure that they are correct. I've had this before with my rudder pedals. Just need to move that. Yeah, I think I may have accidentally. Yeah, I think I accidentally deleted the. Yeah, I can just use this one. Well, this is a good chance for you to see. So for the rudder pedals, I strongly recommend that reactivity is set to 50% or so, depending on what kind of rudders you've got. And normally the curves, I'm just going to sort of do minus 30, 32. There we go. And that is good setting for rudder pedals. This is why we do the tests. Okay, now I have operating. That was entirely down to me messing around with rudder controller setups earlier. But I'm racing along here. That is actually Foxtrot in front of us, so we're going to go forward. The activity sort of dampens down the effect of the control input. So if you find that it's twitchy, now we're coming to our runway 22 crossing. Let's clear the runway. Should pop on the strobes. This is Foxtrot here. For some reason the taxiway clearance given by the sim did not reflect the real taxiway layout. I suspect it's because it's not recognised the custom scenery taxiway layout. So now I'm in beta. I'm just rolling along at 18 knots. You're going to keep it below 20, and it's a lot easier to control. You're in beta because you'll see it indicated on the CAS, and you can look at the throttle. It's in beta range. Still going a little bit fast though. unfortunately, like all aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator, on the ground, if there is a bit of wind around, it can really push the aircraft around. And this is true for this one as is any other aircraft. So yeah, I'm just rolling along at 18 knots now. I'm not using the brakes, it's just beta is controlling the speed. Okay, so that was a short taxi. So a parking brake set, power lever, and now what we're going to do here are run-up tests. Explain what those are. So we're going to set the power, so I'm going to get 1900 RPM. So we're looking at the ARC Prop RPM gauge. If you're doing this on something like that, so make sure you choose a good spot to do it, because otherwise you'll be blocking the traffic. You don't have to get it exactly at 1900 RPM, close enough. Okay, once you're there, and this is quite tricky to do actually, unless you've got this. This is quite tricky to I can do it because I've got a separate screen, but I'm going to press speed governor test switch, so we push and hold it, illuminate, and the prop will drop by about 60 RPM. You can just about see that, it's at 1839. Let's see if we can get it any clearer. There's the prop RPM down there. It is hard to do this without the screen. So there it is, it's dropping and it stabilizes. So you release it, close the cover. Now someone was saying earlier this stays pressed. Well, it shouldn't, unless it will only stay pressed if you use an external binding on it, but it's press and release. Okay. So we push and hold. So power lever can now go back to idle. Test the reverse lockout switch now, which is this one here. So we put that on. Ah no, it's the reverse lockout that people were saying stays on, and it will stay on. And once the reverse lockout's on, you can see I'm trying to put the throttle into reverse on it. It just won't go, and that's the lockout. And that's a safety system that's operating in the air, which prevents you from selecting beta or reverse in the air. Unselect that, make sure that is off, take it off. The final is we're going to turn our generator off and make sure the alternator has picked up the load. So the alternator is reading 93, generator 0. And back on, and then there's the load split again. Okay, that's all of our engine run-up checks. Before takeoff checklist, so seats, armrests and belts just locked, generator switch is on, alternator is on, bleed air is in, cabin comfort is norm, fuel temperature is within limits, fuel pumps can now go to manual, ignition switch to manual, pitot heats can go on. Ice protection is required, not required. Taxi light, well, put recognition lights on now. Landing light can go on. checked. Yeah. Looking at the CAS, consider, that's all good. So now you see I've lost the takeoff config symbol, it's all configured. So igniters are on, fuel pumps are on, which is what I was looking for. Radios and transponders, okay, we'll go to tower now. Sorry, I'm just using the menu to do the tower. Flaps, you take off without flaps and normal takeoff. You have plenty of runway, which we have here. So these remain 0, and our elevator and our rudder trim are set. Flight controls, most important. You saw the problem that I had earlier with the rudder pedals because I've been messing around. This is why it's always good to do your flight control checks. They're checked. Toga, that's on the checklist. I really need to take that off actually because Toga is not implemented. You can actually just see it on the throttle there. It's a little button that comes in some variants. It's not implemented in this, as it isn't implemented in all versions of this aircraft in real life. Okay, I'm going to set my timer. Just start. And just we'll briefly take off. So takeoff runway heading, rotated 85 knots, we'll call it 60, and airspeed line as well. After rotation, we are going direct to Biggie, so we'll pick that up as we're up in the air. But yeah, want the gear up to 428 knots. We'll climb out at 120 knots to begin with. Once we get lined up on the runway, I'll actually set up the flight director to give you some guidance for the takeoff, and that'll just make the transition into autopilot a lot easier. Okay, well, I think we're good to go for our takeoff clearance.
Tower November 150 Bravo Bravo at runway 22 ready for departure IFR to Washington.
November 150 Bravo Bravo altimeter 30.37 with 19er tree at 12. Cleared for takeoff runway 22.
Okay.
Cleared for takeoff runway 22 November 150 Bravo Bravo.
So that's 193 12. Runway 22, so it's going to be a left-hand crosswind. Okay, so I'm going to need plenty of right rudder for takeoff. There's my clearance, so release to park brakes. Just advance the throttle, get that breakaway power. Have great FPS, but it's largely down to the fact that I'm streaming. Custom as well. Okay, get myself nicely lined up. Just going to put the park brake on. Top tip: get yourself lined up using this mark on the cowling. It's a really good way of lining that up with the centre line. I'm going to just do a couple of things here which aren't in the checklist, but these are top tips. So to get some guidance on the takeoff, I'm going to turn the flight director on, which will arm it in the default role of pitch mode. I'm going to select FLC mode, and I'm going to put that to 100. Actually, I'm going to put it to, yeah, put it to 120. Let's do this. So VX is 195. PG is 108. I'll set it to 108. That'll just give me best reduce V-glide. I'll set it to 110, which is VY, which will give me, and that'll just help me with the climb out. And then I'm going to sync the heading bug by right-clicking on the heading dial here and sync the heading bug there to runway heading and arm heading mode as well. And I'm just going to confirm that heading, flight level change, 110 knots, 8,000 set, and that's just going to give me guidance on the takeoff roll. And I don't have the takeoff config cache showing, which is the thing. Okay, I'm going to apply the toe brakes. Set takeoff power, the toe brakes applied. 13 is the maximum, so it's 18 to maximum. Try not to fly the aircraft around close to the red light because you know the engine and have to do a power off landing checklist, emergency checklist E11. Set, that's good enough, close enough, so let's take the power set. Okay, using the toe brakes, whoa, that's that left hand. Weather vane as well, airspeed's live, 60 knots. Biggie. Just adjust the barometer. So now I'm going to hit nav. Confirm that. The GPS is shown in white, meaning it's armed. It will immediately fly you. So what I'm going to do is going to start my turn, but what I'm doing is I'm going to fly an intercept. Heading mode, so I'm still in heading mode. I'm still and flying the aircraft. I'm just going to zoom in, using the flight directive guidance. Once I get close, once the needle starts to deflect and I get closer to the course, there's GPS flashing in green now, which means it is captured, and it will start to give me GPS guidance. Oh, there's Manhattan. Fantastic. Yeah, this probably explains actually why my FPS is not so great. It's, Manhattan's always a bit of an FPS killer. Still hand flying it. It's really easy to hand fly this aircraft. Try and get it trimmed out. Climb. What I am going to do though is put the target speed for FLC mode. pressure on. So autopilot can go on. Just confirm. So we've got GPS, autopilot, go down, flight level change 148,000. Okay, that's not into the sun bit. Let's have a look outside the aircraft. I didn't realise my route was going to take me right over that bridge. Wow, it's actually down there. That's cool. It's a park in town. Okay, so I've cleared up to 16,000 feet now. So I'll use the big wheel. 16,000. Because I've leveled off, it captured the altitude, so it's gone into Alpha mode. So flight level change. I'm going to have to decrease it because that's sink. Whatever speed we were at the time we pressed FSC. So we're down to 40 again.
Zero Bravo, Bravo contact New York Center on 121.125. Good day.
Just going to put the fuel pump on and names to one now.
Going to 121.1250 Bravo Bravo. New York Center, November 150 Bravo Bravo is passing 9,200 feet, climbing 16,000 feet.
November 150 Bravo Bravo, New York Center altimeter 30.38. Continue to making as planned.
Okay, it's all good. So we'll just
Zero Bravo Bravo contact New York Center on 118.975. Good day.
auto frequency changes route here.
118.975 Bravo Bravo. New York Center, November 150 Bravo Bravo is passing 10,200 feet, climbing 16,000 feet.
November 150 Bravo Bravo, New York Center altimeter 30.35. Continue to making as planned.
It's up there. Don't need to acknowledge that. Now for some reason, that must be when I was messing around with the parking brake, I didn't put the bleed air lever in. So I got the cabin alpha 10k warning. That means that the differential pressure here had reached 10,000 feet. So I pushed that in now, and that will. Yeah, I'll put the flow rate up to high. But given I'm still climbing, that will probably trigger. We get the red cabin alpha 12k, which is an emergency, and you should level off until the cabin pressure starts to equalise and come down. So what does all this mean? So the cabin pressure is the altitude you were experiencing in the cabin, and that will at lower altitudes, as you climb up into the pressurization systems engaged, will stay at zero. And the differential pressure shows the difference in the cabin and to the outside, so the cabin's pressurized higher. That can go up to 5.2, 5.3. As you can see, it was zero because I hadn't actually got the bleed air coming in and pressurizing the cabin. It's going up now. it is holding it at 10,206 as a differential. It's just below the yellow arc, above the yellow arc, so it's okay. I've also still got my rudder trim in at 3. Look at the slip skid indicator, it's just slightly to the left, so we can probably take that back out a bit. Why am I still got rudder trim in? Because P factor, which is the sort of effect, left pulling effect from the engine in a climb, will actually increase power a little bit. For the climb, maximum continuous climb, you're limited by your torque, your ITT, your NG, whichever you hit first. So it'll be 1313, absolute maximum for the torque, which is about 250. ITT is 770, and NG will be under 100, 1.8, and whichever you hit first. What's going on with this pressurization situation? Well, it's kind of holding it. It is kicking in. It is holding it. I need to do anything drastic to make it move. What about the passengers? How are they doing? Well, they're hungry and they're thirsty, but at least they're not hot. Cabin temperature 8, which is okay. I think they can stay hungry and thirsty for a longer movement to flight level 280.
Zero Bravo Bravo climb and maintain flight level 240.
Okay, there is 240. Just a note, when you're coming up on the altitude, you may hear a little beep underneath there too. That isn't something that is in this aircraft. That is a little personal mode. I should have deactivated it for streaming, but I won't.
Zero Bravo Bravo, please acknowledge.
Yes, yes.
Climb and maintain flight level 2400 Bravo Bravo.
So we're back into flight level tune. This is the thing that they're going to solve in SU-14, is that not getting the next cleared altitude until, just a couple hundred feet before. It's bad enough in this aircraft, but in a jet, like the CJ4, where you're climbing at sort of 2,500 feet per minute, getting your next clearance just 300 feet short of your last clearance isn't enough, and you bust through. So you always end up having to let them do these little level offs. There's 18,000 run out flight levels. So we go to this PFD options and standard barrel, which is 29.92 in the States, or 0.3 everywhere else in the world. That's a standard barrel turn, so it's good. Okay, the cabin pressure is now actually starting to come down. It's down to 9,800. We've lost the CAS message, and the differential pressure is still going up. So it's all good. Through the after takeoff checklists, which are using here flaps. getting hot now. Okay, we'll just dial that down a little bit. Shouldn't be too much of it, but it's worth seeing as well. This, as well as providing good air to pressurise the cabin, is also providing hot air to the cabin, and you kind of have to mix it and balance it. This is just mix it and balance it with the air from the AC. So if this is in a higher setting, like it would in that, just long flow air through, so I need to use a bit more, blend in a bit more lacy air. Right, your airspeed. So I'm using flight level change mode, FLC. The way that works is, and so I've obviously got the autopilot on, and the way that works is that when you engage FLC mode, you set a target speed, and I set a target speed of 140 knots, and I set that using this dial here, and it will be displayed here, FLC will be indicated here, and then what that will do is it will command the aircraft to try and maintain that speed. And then you adjust the throttle as appropriate. So if you wanted 140 knots but you wanted to descend, you put 130 knots in and the throttle way back to idle, quite idle, so you'll get a warning about 300 foot-pounds. If you wanted to climb, depending on how fast you want to climb, you obviously advance the throttle, try and get your climb up to 1100 feet. I'm not using anywhere near maximum available power, and if you do just sort of like push your throttle axis all the way forward, you definitely red line it. So I'm just bringing, because as we climb the engine becomes less effective, the air's thinner. Yeah, you can use VS, it's perfectly, I tend to use VS in descents or if approaching an altitude limit. ATC limit, and stop busting through the limit, or control my rate of ascent more precisely as I come up on the limit. But generally for climbs and descents, FLC is your friend. It's a better way of oh, these empty skies, no traffic, no clouds, it's all good. So we were clear to 2,400, but I've actually dialed in 2,500, and that's to just sort of try and avoid us leveling off again. ATC stream clears as we get close. Right, thanks for letting me know that. I will bump up the microphone as this. There's 280. So 280. Imagine that.
Climb and maintain flight level 2800 Bravo Bravo.
Hopefully the mic is a bit better. And I'll bring the aircraft sounds down a bit as well. So that's going to be our final cruising altitude, flight level 280. And just through the climb, you've got to kind of monitor the power. You can advance. Continue to advance the throttle as you climb, as the engine gets less efficient. You can introduce more fuel. Try and maintain your performance.
New York Center, November 150 Bravo Bravo is at flight level 250, climbing flight level 280.
November 150 Bravo Bravo, New York Center. Continue to Biggie as planned.
Good.
Bravo Bravo, contact New York Center on 124.625.
It's like, yeah, okay. That's the shortest handover.
6250 Bravo Bravo. 250 Bravo Bravo is at flight level 255 climbing flight level 280.
November 150 Bravo Bravo New York Center. Continue to Biggie as planned.
Okay. So I'm going to relent. I'm going to let them take their seatbelts off now. Oops. And we'll serve them some coffee. And we'll serve them some snacks. Did I do that? Coffee and snacks served. Yeah, there's the table out. The table will go out automatically when you select those, but it won't go away automatically, so if you want to stow it before landing, make sure you do that. There's the click spot there to stow it. I'm not going to do that now. Put the coffee in. Croissant and macaroons everywhere. It'll be really cool once Raul does the passengers, but I know he will do a really good job of it. And yes, I use FLC for both climb and descent. Just pushing the power up again. The other thing you can do actually, above flight level 200, you can drop down to, you can set FLC to 120 knots, because I'm only climbing at 1,000 feet per minute, and that's a fairly shallow climb. I mean, I'm still on track. I mean, if I look at the MFD, there's my alt select arc, and that tells me, okay, I've selected to 28,000, flight level 280, and I'm going to hit 28,000, predicted hit it at that point there. So just before Biggie, and if we go back and look at my flight plan, it might be easier if I do it on route. This is really cool, this actually. Let's have the top of climb. I see, actually there was top of climb there according to SimBrief, and that's me just getting to top of climb now. That's me right at, so SimBrief would have had it, so I should have probably used more power and you know, dropped the FLC to 120 knots, and that would have got me up to top of climb sooner. But anyway. So I got we're at 20,000, switched from FLC mode to alt mode, which is altitude hold mode, 28,000, GPS autopilot yaw damper. A lot of problems come with people learning the aircraft just because they kind of don't know what the autopilot's doing, and there's a really good rule, which is whenever you make a change in command to the autopilot, you confirm that it's indicated here and it's doing what you expect it to do. Vertical track now again, that's a little private mod of mine. It's actually telling me I'm coming up on top of descent. which actually if we look at the G1000, there is a top of descent marker there. I'll zoom right in. Top of descent. And that would be if I was going to use VNAV, and we'll see what, I mean, it is a pretty short flight this actually, and going up to flight level 280 is a little bit excessive. But we'll see what ATC gives us. They should give us our descent clearance. It tends to be tends to come a bit later. And the other thing is, I should say, is of course, is that in my arrival procedure. That sun is bright. Okay, so I've already decided that I'm going to land runway 19er, and I'm going to select. So I press the proc procedure key, and I've got select approach flashing. Press enter. I've got a menu of choices here. So I'm going to use the lower ring on the FMS knob to find RNAV, RMP 19er, and I'm going to hit enter. And my transition waypoint is going to be Fergie, which is what I want. It's there. There's a little map of the route. You can see it's going down the river, the Potomac. And so I want the Fergie initial fix, approach fix. Do I have to hit enter here? I do, yeah. Minimums. Barometric. I'm just going to check the chart. See what the chart says. Charts. DCA. That's an approach. RNAV 19er. There we go. That's in there. So we'll check my minimums. So decision altitude is 491 feet. So we will select 491. So just use the lower ring there and then a bit of scrolling. Press enter and load it. Press enter. Okay, and there it's loaded in now. Just going to make sure it's all loaded in correctly. Fergie, yeah. Okay, that is the sequence I'm expecting. So I'll just press flight plan to get rid of that. Zoom out. Like zooming out, zooming in, zooming in. So now I've loaded the procedure, which is adding quite a bit of distance. So I've now got a new top descent, on the, which is what I expected. So that's all good. Sit in the cruise for a bit now. Let's check our engine. So ITT has got pretty high now, 713, but we're still within limits. NG 89.8. I mean, you're never going to get sort of maximum engine performance. We're hitting maximum NGs up at these flight levels. Fuel temperature minus 23. The fuel can go as low as minus 41, but before, I mean, that's an absolute minimum, and you might start to get problems with your fuel supply before that with ice forming in the fuel lines. Now there's a fuel recirculation system, which it takes, what it does, it takes a little bit of unburned fuel from the fuel control unit in the engine, which has been warmed, and circulates that back into the feeder tanks and the wing roots, and that just helps stop ice forming in the lines. It can go down to minus 54, it's the absolute outside air temperature limit of this aircraft, and the fuel can go down to minus 54 with these additives in real life, but it's not presently simulated. Lovely weather. We do have a 46 knot headwind component now, which is slowing us down, so we're cruising at true airspeed of 263 knots now. You can probably see that on the, what does it say on the toolbar, and it's in ground speed 218, yeah, which is figures with that strong headwind. Now another thing you're operating a light general aviation aircraft all the way up in it's very high altitudes. You're going to encounter jet stream winds, strong winds. You have to take into consideration that sort of impact on your fuel burn, particularly if you're doing a longer flight, and have an alternate plan. You're also going to have to think about icing and weather. Now it's minus 41 degrees is the outside air temperature at the minute, which is obviously pretty cold, but no ice because there's no visible moisture. In fact, it's too cold for ice to form. It's kind of in the mid-altitudes where it gets more of a problem, particularly around convective clouds and cumulonimbus and things like that. But you do have weather radar. You have the GWX-75 weather radar on board, and you've got NEXRAD as well, information which I've got enabled. There is nothing going on. That is NEXRAD is ground-based weather radars doing their thing, detecting weather radar, weather rainfall patterns, and then that's transmitted over the internet, and you're downloading it over the internet via the XM radio receiver in the aircraft. Just trying to remember. Yeah. Just remembered. Just do this.
Going to 135.450 Bravo Bravo.
I've got the ATC
New York Center, November 150 Bravo Bravo.
on
flight level
a switch on my yoke just to save me having to use the menu.
November 150 Bravo Bravo, New York Center. Continue to Mike X-ray Echo as planned.
Mike X-ray Echo, that's that VOR. Right. So weather radar, how do you get the weather radar? On the MFD, if you use the lower FMS knob, you'll see it's pulled up a little menu here. These are called page groups. Use the lower knob to move between the page groups. So you've got map, waypoint, auxiliary, flight plan, and nearest. And then each page group has sub options. I'll zoom right in so you can see it. So we've got navigation map, charts, traffic map. This is where you access your Navigraph charts on the PFD. Traffic map, weather radar, and okay. And so I want to scroll through those. So use the lower ring and then the upper knob to scroll through. Well, there's my Navigraph chart. It's already set up my account. Traffic map. So it'll show any ATC traffic. Zoom that in and out. And now the weather radar. You've got the arc off. So mode, standby, weather to turn it on. So that's it transmitting, but there's nothing around for it to pick up. I can go back and I can put a bearing line down the centre just to help orientate what's your current aircraft heading. But that's it's going to be centred. And if I go vertical, that will give me a vertical cross section as well. What's going on? All very useful. There are limits to how Microsoft Flight Simulator does weather radar at the minute, but it's still a pretty useful tool, actually. And if you want to come out of the weather radar, once you've got it on, I mean, you just use the page group selector, the lower and the upper rings to switch between the MFD is showing you. And if you press and hold the clear button, that should always take you back to this screen as well. Well, let's have a look at our pressurization. So that did it settled down now. Its cabin differential is 9,800 feet. That's normal. It's within the green arc. It's the pressurization cannot keep the cabin at the equivalent of sea level, not when we're all the way up here. In fact, once you start climbing above about 10,000 feet, even with the pressurization system on, that cabin altitude is going to start to go up. But I can bring that down. The other thing I can do, which I haven't done, is I bet I've left the rudder trim in. I have left the rudder trim in. You can see I'm slightly uncoordinated there. slip indicator. So now that I'm cruising, I can zero the rudder trim. I have this bound to switches on my yoke as well, which is super convenient. And that is more balanced now. Now there are performance tables in the back of the manual, and if you go and look them up, you should, if you know what the standard temperature is, then you can use that to work out what sort of performance you're going to get in your cruise. What's the standard temperature? Well, the standard temperature or atmospheric conditions is the deviation. I'll just show you quickly how you can find that out. So I'm going to go to my OFP, which we looked at right up at the beginning. Oh, it is at the top. Duh. So in this little box of information here, so you've got average ISA, and that's basically telling me what the average ISA is. ISA just stands for International Standard Atmosphere, which is a benchmark used, and then they measure the difference against that, and it's P for positive 2, so it's +2, and and that would tell you which chart to use in the cruise table charts in the annex. And there's a way of working out as well, looking at what altitude you're at and then what outside air temperature is, because that is a very predictable rate of difference depending on the humidity in the atmosphere as well. But yeah, that's an easy way of checking. But I was in a bit of a rush to do the stream and lots of other things to do, so I didn't actually, normally I would sit and work all that, but on this occasion. Sorry, I'm giving you the full realism here. And we're getting pretty close to the top of descent. I can use, I'll try and use VNAV to take myself down. I'm still actually, quite honestly, working out all the VNAV features in the G1000. I know it inside out on the CJ4 and the 737. But most of my flying in G1000 aircraft has been in the Kodiak, and I'm nearly always flying VFR in sort of mountains, and I never use VNAV, so I'm still getting familiar with it myself. But what I do know is that, well, if we go back to our charts, so we're going to look at arrival, charts, and we're going to go to arrival, and we're on the Clipper 3 RNAV arrival. So let's get that zoomed in so we can see what we're doing. What we're looking for are altitude constraints, so we've got 12,000, we must cross Clipper at 12,000. I can't see anything before that. Then at Baltimore it is 10,000, that's Baltimore BUR, and there are no other, we're basically, the routing we're taking is we're coming down here, descending at, where was vertical track, sorry, that's a mod, not in the aircraft. For it, and then yeah, there's no other restrictions. So what I can do is select. The first thing you have to do is it's getting okay. So select VS. Yeah, now I can I'll dial in 12,000, and I've got VPath armed, so that does mean I've already pressed the VNAV button. So what that means is when I come to, except I've already probably gone past top of descent. Yeah, I've already gone past top of descent, so it will not. If you do that before you reach top of descent, it will start to bring you down automatically. But I've not had a clearance from ATC yet. I'm just putting it into FSR500. All gets a little bit complicated with me nav. I bet you I'm on the wrong frequency. No. Just ATC isn't ready to bring me down yet. Ah! It's got me going direct to DCA. What's going on here? Okay. How did that happen? Zoom out. Yeah, it doesn't have the arrival procedure loaded. That is because I loaded it through the world map and it didn't do it. So, procedure. I want to select an arrival. And I want Clipper 3. And I'm going for runway 19er. And just ice. MXC should have been my transition. So I'm going to put in MXC, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into heading mode. Sync the heading bug. Because otherwise, if I selected MXC, it would do bad things. It's going to want to take me back, but I'll look at the map here. So I actually want to go direct belay now, just because of where I am. So click on that, move the cursor, belay, hit the direct button, activate. So there I've got a direct route to belay. I can now go back into nav mode. So just confirm, so we're direct belay, GPS, autopilot flight director, FLC, and what I'm now going to request a descent.
New York Center, 0 Bravo Bravo. Request flight level 180.
0 Bravo Bravo descend and maintain flight level 220. Expect flight level 180.
Descend and maintain flight level 220. Expect flight level 180. Bravo Bravo.
Okay, so I'm in flight level change mode. I've bumped it up to 180 knots, so the aircraft's pitching down to try and reach that. The rate of descent will depend on power settings, so I'm going to pull the throttle back. I'm descending late because of my screw up not having procedure loaded. So I'm going to bring the engine right back down to 600. You can go all the way down to 300 without starting to get alarms blaring at you. Pull it down to 600 and see what rate of descent that's going to give me. Pretty decent, 2100. Why 180? Well, I could take it up to 183, I believe is VMO, but 180 gives me a bit of cushion in case of gusts. And that'll bring me down as quickly as I can. I think I'm going to pull it right, the throttle right back. what I'm looking for is the altitude select arc. And if you recall, we wanted to be at Clipper at 12,000. So I want that arc sitting over Clipper. Oh, and I've just got it sitting at 300, yeah. So you don't want to go any, I'll show you what happens if you go below 300 pounds.
Check gear.
So you immediately get this this warning, check gear, and you'll see the igniters have come
Check
on as
gear.
well. So that'll happen if you go below 300 torque without having the gear down. It'll also happen if you put the flaps down to above 20, I think, in the descent. Right, okay, now we're turning to, we're at Belay, we're turning to Trish. Other trick that I can do to increase the rate of descent, and I'm not quite at emergency descent here, so bump the flight level change, target speed up to...
Zero Bravo Bravo descend and maintain flight level 180.
Excellent, okay.
Descend and maintain flight level 1800 Bravo Bravo.
Ah, now I've got 3,500 feet of descent now, really getting down there. And as we turn on to this track here, we can see the alt select arc is just sitting past Clipper. So that's going to get me back onto my path. But this is, I am descending pretty much as fast as I could. I mean, I could pull the throttle back all the way to idle, but then I'll get that check gear sounding all the time. It's quite annoying. Although I think it is mutable actually in these conditions. Let's find out. It's quite complicated, the logic on the check gear. So if I hit alert, that should, won't get rid of the cast message, but it'll stop the oral tone. And that's given me an even greater rate of descent, 3,200. Yeah, we're going to hit 12,000 just after, but I need to request another decrease.
New York Center, 0 Bravo Bravo. Request 8,000 feet.
0 Bravo Bravo descend and maintain 8,000 feet.
Okay,
Descend and maintain 8,000 feet, 0 Bravo Bravo.
0 Bravo Bravo descend and maintain 12,000 feet.
okay, that's good. That means the ATC's picked up the fact that I'm on the Clipper 3. So it's giving me the correct
Descend and
altitude.
maintain 12,000 feet, 0 Bravo Bravo.
I'm afraid when you're flying IFR like this, you don't have much time to look out the window and enjoy the view. Must be the Chesapeake. Now the reason I've got the igniters on, they've come on, is because the igniters are in auto mode, and they'll come on once the torque blows a certain amount. Okay, I finally picked up my V path.
Vertical track.
Okay, so when you're in VNAV, which is indicated by anything beginning with a V in front of it, it will maintain either the selected altitude or the next VNAV altitude constraint, whichever is higher. And the next altitude constraint is 10,000. I've selected 10,000, and we know it's 10,000 at Baltimore.
0 Bravo Bravo, contact Washington Center on 132.525. Good day.
Also, I need to set the barometer. I see wasn't really at 12,000 feet there. That's because I was still on standard barometer. I just used the B key there. ATC wanted me to...
132.5250 Bravo Bravo.
This here indicates your deviation from your calculated vertical track. Let's bring me back on.
Washington Center, November 150 Bravo Bravo is passing 12,700 feet, descending 12,000 feet.
Bring the power back up now as well.
November
Reduce steering
150
speed.
Bravo Bravo Washington Center altimeter, tree 0.37. Continue to Bravo Alpha Lima as planned.
Okay, and we can...
0 Bravo Bravo, contact Washington Center on 132.55. Good day.
132.550 Bravo Bravo.
So in VNav, it's just going to descend me automatically. Good stutter there. Yeah, imagine having the charts on EFB if you fly in VR must be really good. So the rate of descent is now entirely being controlled by VPath, but you still got to watch your power settings and your speed. You don't want it to overspeed. There is overspeed protection in the aircraft. If you get too fast, it will nose up the aircraft automatically. If the autopilot is on. Do that if you're hand flying it. And the aircraft also has a thing called electronic stability protection, which you can turn on and off in the realism settings here. ESP, what ESP does is prevents you when you're hand flying, it's only active when you're hand flying and turned on in the activated here, it will stop you over pitching and overbanking the aircraft. If you keep on over pitching and banking the aircraft, it actually turns the autopilot on automatically in level mode. It's a safety feature. So if you want to do crazy flying in the mountains or practice your stalls, you better turn ESP off. Baltimore. Looks like. Let's get that chart back up. It's really cool having this here. So I'm still descending, just very slowly, because I'm on my VPath. Computers calculated that I only need to descend at 500 feet a minute to make my next target, which is 10,000 at Baltimore VUR, which you can see there, and the arc is intersecting the Baltimore waypoint perfectly, and the BOD stands for bottom of descent. It's basically saying, so it's all agreeing, it's all good. I feel like I'm making up for my earlier mess up. I mean, that's pretty stressful when you've got to load imagine doing that on VATS. I mean, you haven't loaded the procedure properly, and you've got to load it, and then you've got to make sure that it doesn't turn you back to the initial waypoint. So you've got to do a direct and all that kind of stuff. Can be pretty heavy workload. So my mistake was not to thoroughly check that the arrival procedure had been loaded through the world map, and it hadn't. Something had stopped it loading. So after Baltimore, it's then on to Eyes, Megs, Nays, then it's Vectors to pick up the approach. which is the RNAV 19er. Let's bring that in. So Fergie, initial approach fix, then Darek, Seatalk, Fon V, Jubal, Wispo, Furop, runway 19. It's all pretty exciting stuff. I've flown this a few times before. Okay, that's just coming up on 10,000 feet. At Baltimore. So we're leveling off now, so again you gotta watch the power every time you level off. Not quite sure what the effect of clicking the star is here yet. I haven't worked that one out other than to help you pick it out. Oh, wondered why I wasn't getting any more.
Potomac approach November 150 Bravo Bravo is passing 10,000 feet, climbing 12,000 feet.
November 150 Bravo Bravo, Potomac approach altimeter 30.37. Continue to EYESS as planned.
Potomac approach November 150 Bravo Bravo, requesting vector to next waypoint.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
0 Bravo Bravo, continue to EYESS turning and following heading 245, proceed on course. Keep speed not above 250 knots.
Continue to EYSS turning and following heading 245, proceed on course, keep speed not above 250 knots. 0 Bravo Bravo.
Now I've actually busted below. I was last cleared to 12,000. I actually went down to 10,000 at Baltimore, which can throw the ATC out of whack. I can always request lower. Let's take it down to 6,000.
Potomac approach 0 Bravo Bravo. Request 4,000 feet.
0 Bravo Bravo climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Expect 4,000 feet.
Yes, this is the problem. It wants me to climb to my last
Climb and maintain
cleared
12,000
altitude.
feet. Expect 4,000 feet. 0 Bravo Bravo.
It's a dumb ATC. Now, I'm in VNAV, but how do I know if I'm going to actually get a vertical track or not? Oh, I'm going to look out for a top of design marker. And I'm not seeing a top of design, so VNAV is not going to do it, so I'm going to disarm VNAV. So VPAF disappears there. I've selected 6,000 and I'm going to go down in flight level change mode. So FLC 177, because that was the speed it was at. Bump that up to 180 again and pull the throttle back. As I pull the throttle back, I'll start to descend.
Bravo Bravo, please expedite your climb 12,000 feet.
Yeah, I'm going to get nagged by ATC now. And just ignore them. It might eventually pick up and sort of work out where I'm at and start doing it. Give me proper directions again, but I've probably bored it now. But I can ignore those. So 1,800 feet per minute descent. That will get us down, yeah, 6,000 just past eyes. I just want to check what my platform altitude for the. I want to be at Fergie. So Fergie, 3,000 at Fergie. Yeah, well, no problem making that.
0 Bravo Bravo, please expedite your climb 12,000
Just gonna get nagged. So there's the Potomac River in front of us. In fact, we're kind of flying directly towards the airport, which is there. But our routing will take us up away to the northwest, and then we'll turn in. In fact, that's starting to turn at eyes now. This is coming up on 6,000.
Zero Bravo Bravo, please expedite your climb 12,000 feet.
Now we leveled out, so bring the power back up. I think I can see the Washington Monument down now. There we go. Washington Monument, Senate, White House there, Smithsonian, Mall. Cool. Get a closer look at it when we come around on the approach. I mean, these approaches are designed
Zero
for
Bravo Bravo, please expedite your climb 12,000 feet.
approaches are designed for big passenger jets, of course, not little GA aircraft like this. That is really awesome. Yeah, I'm sorry if you want a streamer who does loads of crazy things, bells and whistles, and outside cockpit views. I'm not a streamer for you. It's all about, well, particularly on this stream. Okay, so we're now direct megs.
Airspeed,
Oh.
airspeed.
Well, that's a good demo of what happens
Airspeed.
if you don't pay attention to your throttle.
Zero Bravo Bravo, please expedite your climb 12,000 feet.
So I'm gonna stay at 6,000 until I get to probably to Nays. I may even cut the corner, but actually no, I'll come down to 4,000 feet now. I'm trying to remind myself not to use my external hardware.
Zero Bravo Bravo, you are 10 miles
Oh, here we
north.
go.
Climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect RNAV runway 19er approach via Fergie transition. Clear to Fergie.
Hey!
Zero Bravo Bravo descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots.
So there's my approach clearance.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect RNAV runway 19er approach via Fergie transition. Clear to Fergie 0 Bravo Bravo.
Excellent. Okay, we are back with the ATC. Sometimes it sorts itself out if you just let it. So we'll arm flight level change. We've got 3,000 selected. And we'll increase the speed. So 280. I'll make 175 actually. Pull the throttle back a bit. I think I saw on the forum someone saying, "Oh, you know, I don't like an aircraft that gives me, you know, speed warnings when I'm hardly using any throttle." If you're in level flight at a fairly low altitude and the throttle's pumping out a lot of power. This is a slippy aircraft, and you will overspeed it without needing that much power. That is completely normal.
Zero Bravo Bravo, please expedite your descent 3,000 feet.
Okay, okay. Pull the throttle back a bit more. I think I can use this shade actually now. I can find the click spot for it. So the click spot is the hinge. I'm using the mouse wheel. That's a better technique. Okay, appears I left my landing light on all this time. That can stay on, but I'm going to put the taxi recognition lights to pulse now. Coming into a busier area. And I'm going to put the fuel pumps and the igniters to manual. I'm just anticipating some of the checklist items I'm going to have to do. I'm coming up on a vector leg now, so right click to sync the heading bug, and I'm actually going to go into heading mode now, because otherwise you run the risk of kind of doing a flyback or something like that. We're coming up with 3000, so if I zoom out on the MFD, you can just see I'm heading up here at man-seek. That means manual sequence. That means it's a vector leg. I'm coming up on nays. So actually what I'm going to do is use the heading select knob to, you see that cyan arrow, a dotted line comes up, and I'm moving the bug round. I'm going to use that line. I'm going to keep on turning it until I get that line pointing at Fergie, waypoint on the MFD, and because I already went into heading mode. So this is a discontinuity in the flight plan, like you might get in an airliner, but it's normal. You have to, you have to deal with it. You have to fly. You can't just let the autopilot sort of fly it completely automatically. Okay, now is a good time to change our chart. So we're not showing, but I'm going to really quickly brief this now. So Fergie 3000, can't go 2600, so 1700 at Grays, 1500 at Setok, and that's our final approach point. Okay. Now there's some other stuff we've got to do here as well. So we do want to pick up a navigation track again, but there's no, Fergie isn't indicated as an active waypoint. So flight plan, press that to get the cursor up. That one. Use the lower ring until I find Fergie, highlight Fergie, and direct. Activate, yes please. Okay, so we've now got our direct Fergie. This is a cyan line, that's your flight path predictor, or your turn predictor. I've also got a bit of wind coming from the left, a bit of wind coming from the right. I'm not quite sure why it's not lined up like me toward or something like that. But anyway, so just to confirm, direct Fergie. We're in heading mode though still, that's why it's not lined up. So we're going to go to nav mode. And there we go, GPS is green for armed. You can see the course deviation needle here just shows that we're left of our track, and that will bring us in. And this is why you always check the status bar here. So it was 3,000 at Fergie. When I land, the general aviation parking area is to the southwest. It's GA terminal.
Bravo descend and maintain 2,600 feet.
2,600.
Descend and maintain 2,600 feet. 0 Bravo Bravo.
Okay, I selected 2,600. Then now I'm going to use VS just for these little changes here. So I'll just put in sort of like 600 because I don't want to be going too fast because yeah. But I was just saying when I land and probably when I exit to the right at taxiway Foxtrot, which is quite a long way down, that is at the second runway, just before the second runway intersection, runway 22, and that'll bring me close to my parking area. Okay, we're coming over the river now, and this RNAV course is going to take us right the way down the line of the Potomac. So it's 2,600 at Darrick. Which is our next waypoint there, and we're at 2,600 already. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of before landing checklists. So we will disengage our autopilot below 100 knots. Our fuel pumps are on manual, our ignition's on manual.
And maintain 1,700 feet. Keep speed not above 200 knots.
The landing light is on. We'll respond to that.
Descend and maintain.
Oh, CTD coming up. Make up your mind, are you going to CTD or not? Well, this is new. I've never had a hang like this before. This is genuinely something I've never had before. In many years of flight simming. Why is it just paused like this? Okay, I'm just going to make sure I've not got some other app or process running in the background that is playing up with it. Alright, okay. See if that helps. No. Right, I've never had a complete sim freeze up like this before. Because normally it'll hang and then crash to desktop. But not to have any response like this at all. Oh dear, I was really looking forward to that approach, but I think I'm going to have to knock it on the head. Frustrating. Now, if you're thinking, this is something wrong with the FSR500, well, I've hardly ever had a CTD in it, and whenever I have had a CTD, it's normally to do with scenery, nothing to do with the aircraft. And most of the time you get these CTDs when some scenery object loads in and doesn't load in properly, and I'm guessing that's probably what's happened on this occasion. But who knows, CTDs are a mysterious thing. Anyway, if you watched this far, thank you very much. Hope you learned some stuff. I will end the stream here and see you next time.